broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the after show for Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It is season 10, episode 5 on the road. We are one short missing Mr. Bobby tonight. But please, before we get started, go follow us on Twitter, Instagram, at AFTERBUZZ TV, and you can find all of these podcasts on iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, you name it. I'm Sterling Cates, and you can find me on Twitter at Sterling Cates.
Hello, I'm Francesca, and you can find me on Twitter at XOXOCESCA.
Hey guys, I'm Nicholas Grava, and you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Nicholas Grava.
All right, well, let's get on into it. So another episode of The Kardashians. Mm-hmm. We see a little bit of Kim. Her storyline was like 10 minutes long, but so we'll talk about that in a second. And then we've got Kylie and Kris and Khloe and what seemed like very unnecessary drama with Malika.
Highly unnecessary drama.
Yeah. I felt like the title of this episode should have been awkward.
Yeah, there was just a
but
bunch
for no
of
reason,
awkwardness.
though, right? Like, I felt like it was really unnecessary, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let's start off with anyways, let's start off with Kim. So we've seen this season that she has her video game and she's been pretty involved with it, it looks like, and she's very proud of it, obviously. Mm-hmm. But now she's been asked to do an interview at this tech conference, right, which is very out of the ordinary for her. She usually, sticks to her own script. She's not really involved with the tech world. What did you guys think about that?
I thought she said her mother's advice was to back out, to not do it.
They're setting you up.
Thanks for the support, Kris.
Right? Which seemed a little aggressive. I don't think that would be the case. Although the woman asking the questions did seem to be asking some provocative, in a way, questions that she was looking, I think, for trying to catch her in a corner or in something. Like, I didn't like that.
Well, from a manager's perspective with Kris, like, I get why you might not want to put Kim in that position. Yeah. Because, she does get a lot of, flack for a lot of things. Mm-hmm. And if, she feels like she's setting herself up for failure, then maybe she shouldn't do it. But I thought that she handled it really well. It was a good interview.
Yeah, I still think it's a little weird that she got asked to speak at this tech conference. But maybe that's just how they framed it in the episode to make us also feel like this is kind of weird. Why is she being asked to do this? It might have, like, that particular talk might have been not very techie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because not to interrupt, but after the fact, she was like, how did I do? I seemed so, she was like, yeah, you seem pretty savvy. And I'm like, you didn't really talk much about tech. You talked about how you tweet while you're, jet lag.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It wasn't, hard-hitting facts about the tech world, or, she doesn't, she said, I feel very prepared, blah, 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 but, it didn't seem like she did much research, necessarily.
Biggest word I heard was twitpic. Yeah. That was the only, big word that she hit.
Should it be pink or light pink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I don't like, you know me, I love Kim. But I did think she did handle herself well, because what was the first question she asked again?
Why do you think people don't take you seriously? Wow, way to start an interview.
Hi.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense to ask that at an interview that she wouldn't necessarily do. And they had gotten a lot of tweets and comments on whatever the posting was, that they were like, why is she being interviewed at the same place Steve Jobs was interviewed? And I get that kind of, but it's just a different angle of it. She definitely is using social media and
the mobile world.
And she's kind of attacking it head front. She's making a lot of money from it. So I think she is, a reliable or an experienced person to be interviewed.
I agree. I think the people there are pretty stubborn against what they want and what they expect to be there. But you're right, her Twitter following, her Instagram following, the way she uses social media, how she gets business deals from it, and even her successful game does get her to the table of sitting there, whether they want to admit it or not.
I mean, people can talk as much crap about Kim that they want, but at the end of the day, she is making bank, and she has so many followers. Like, whatever she's doing it right.
Right.
I was earlier. I was posting a picture on Instagram. This is a little side note, and I was like, I don't know if I should post this. Like, I don't know. You know, when you kind of like go back and forth about, like, you know, like if it's not the right filter, the right picture, or whatever. And my roommate was just like, well, you know, Kim says that she just doesn't have any rhyme or reason to it. She just posts what she wants to post. So I think you should just do it. And I was like,
who said that?
My roommate. I was like, words to live by from Kim Kardashian. Thank you so much for that. I'm just gonna post it.
Did you post it?
I did post it.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah,
I posted a risky one too today. Only got 40 likes. Wasn't really.
I gotta go check it.
Clearly didn't work out.
Everyone go find Nicholas.
Yeah, at Nicholas Grava, give some love. Shoot.
Like.
Did you guys hear? I don't know if this could be an absolute lie, but I read something on Twitter that said Kim employed her own selfie editor for like $150,000 a year. That would just strictly edit her selfies.
Can I have that job?
Right, I would love that job. I wouldn't be surprised also, and I feel like that could maybe be a Kanye influence.
Oh,
he does
man,
that.
yeah.
They hire the paparazzis. And,
yeah.
You know, I was going to say they are, I mean, we always talk about this all the time, how big their name is, and, you know, I mean, they're just huge. And if you look at a lot of celebrities, they never break, or rarely do they break like 1 million likes. The Kardashians always get over 1 million likes on Instagram.
Their social media game is
strong.
Just because people are curious. It's strong. People are curious. They just want to know what's happening. And I mean, I'm guilty of it. And everyone who watches this after show knows that I'm like stalk the Kardashians' Instagrams, and I always talk about it. So, I mean, like I said, whatever they're doing it right. And you can't hate on that for sure. But yeah, so, anything else about this Kim tech world? It seems like she has more ideas for the future. It's like she said, the future is mobile.
Her stores, their fashion, she already started integrating that with the app, you know, designing what her characters look like and everything looks like. So it only makes sense that they have, you know, Dash and other stores that they're going to take like those stores into mobile land.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and everything is kind of going in that way anyway, with apps. So there's got to be a Dash app coming if there isn't already.
You know what I was thinking about earlier today was that, can you imagine when we were growing up, there wasn't social media, and like now, like it's so normal, like just how crazy it is that it's just changed in a matter of like a decade.
It's absurd when I think.
Well, I feel like it just kind of happened overnight.
It feels like it. I mean, Instagram's only like 4 or 5 years old, really.
Right? Like, that's crazy.
Well, I didn't even have Instagram. Like, I didn't have Instagram in college, which seems weird to me. Like, the only thing I had was Facebook, and you needed a college.
Yeah, I remember that.
Email address to sign up on Facebook. And now my little cousins have like Instagrams. They're in second grade.
Right.
And I'm like, are you kidding?
I think, and
crazy.
I think this kind of bleeds into Kylie and like our issue with Kylie and Chris is that she's living in a world with like social media, and she kind of has to grow up faster than most people.
Well, and I feel like Kylie is definitely growing up in that was a good transition. Like, I feel like she's growing up in a very different world that even Kim did. And she's so involved in her phone and with her friends online, and she, like the other ones, are very active on Instagram and other social media and like Snapchat, and they're doing all of these things. And we see in this episode she's constantly on her phone, just, you know, in it and not present. And I feel like that's the case with a lot of us and a lot of teenagers and a lot of people in this generation, that we're just so in our phones, and it makes it harder, I guess, when you're famous and
zombies. We just always are looking down.
It's kind of crazy. I heard Chris was in the car talking to her on the way to their little trip they were taking, and she said something in regards to, you should have started tweeting a year ago. I told you to get in and start doing your fashion. So the way they integrate it with business and with business opportunities, yes, they're always using social media, but that's a huge. The fact that they could build their own business or their own platform off of that shows the good parts of it too. Because a lot of people say, like, even me, I'm guilty of, at dinner with friends or family, I'll open up my phone, check an email, shoot a text, whatever it is.
Let's take a picture, guys.
Yeah, like all the time. But I guess there is a good side too to that.
Yeah. I mean, that's smart though, that Chris was thinking, you know, if we start now, then maybe we can build your brand, and a year later, because she was like, you know, if we had done that, if we had started this before, the opportunities like this Pretty Little Liars one would be coming around
More
way
so,
more often.
yeah.
But I guess when your mom tells you to do something, you just don't really want to do it. In general,
True.
I feel like
Very true.
Yeah. So Kylie and Chris take this road trip. They hadn't been talking. When Kylie is with Bruce and she says she hadn't been talking to Chris in a couple of weeks, and they live in the same house, that's kind of a big deal.
That's a huge
2
deal.
weeks is a long time, and I get they're busy and they're doing
Right.
different things, but I mean, 2 weeks to go without speaking to your mom, I can't even imagine.
This is not like the first time that Kylie's kind of done
Yeah.
this. Do you remember last season, or was it maybe 2 seasons ago, when they were supposed to go rock climbing or something like that, and Kylie came and then left with her friend?
Yeah, I do remember that.
They're always doing like random like enthusiast sports. Like they went and did unplugged my mic there. I was like, hello. They went and did the go-kart racing or whatever. I felt like that was so set up. Like, when would Chris, Scott, and Khloe like ever decide to just like
Never
get together?
Never. And Scott was like, I thought this was Kylie's idea. What is this? And those are things that I think definitely are set up by the show just to get them together.
And I feel like if Kylie is skipping out on family time, I don't feel like she would just naturally go to Bruce's to sit on her phone.
Did you see who else came with her to Bruce's house, though?
Who was it?
Her lips.
Yeah. I was like, wait, I was thinking it was just the two of
The
them.
biggest question mark, you guys tell me, what in the hell is going on?
They say it's the liner, but it's lip injections for sure.
A couple weeks ago, we were being facetious and arguing about it with Stefan, but it's definitely a mixture of both.
Even when they were in with MJ at lunch or whatever, and she comes out on the balcony and she gives her like a little kiss, I was like okay,
they're in permanent duck face. The whole family, even Chloe was doing a confessional and she was like, oh, Malika, and I'm like, permanent duck face? Like, yeah, it looks good once in a while for a selfie, but like all the time?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They were very obvious. This
They
episode.
made us guest. It was a guest role this whole episode.
Yeah. Well, they're constantly saying, yeah, it's just like this lip liner trick we do where you line the outside and then you fill it in with the lip color, which does make them appear larger.
But when you look
This
at
is,
someone
like,
and be like,
on
your
their
lip
side
is half to
profile,
your
like,
nose.
you definitely got injections. Like, just admit it.
But it's weird because sometimes they look like not, and
I
then
feel like
sometimes
they always
do.
look like that,
No.
you know? Especially if you do follow her on
The
Instagram.
question about these lips, I just don't know. I'll never know.
They were definitely there and ready to play this episode. That's what was happening. But yeah, so Chris gets this like great idea to force her into family bonding time with her.
A great idea.
And this like road trip, which is not my idea of a road trip. They're being driven there.
Yeah.
True that.
And they're both on their phones, and she's just talking. I did get when Kylie said, my mom only just wants to talk about work, and I want to talk about other things. Like, I get that. That makes,
Well, that's a hard line for them, I think, and it's. I feel like every kid has experienced that with Chris. Is when is she my mom? When is she my manager?
Yeah.
And even Chloe is like, maybe I should not have you as a manager, so you can just be my mom all the time.
Well, and I mean, it is confusing when your family is your work. Like, you're famous because of your family, and so you just got to adjust to that.
Yeah.
What I thought was crazy is that she actually gave Kylie her own room.
Yeah.
That's just like nuts.
That was so sad so she was like, I'm so excited we can be in our PJs and put a movie on and at least just defeats the whole purpose for her to get her own room.
However, Chris knocks out.
Who takes a sleeping pill in the middle of the day?
First of all, is MJ really a drug dealer?
like,
I think she has another operation going on.
What is going down there?
Yeah, that was interesting. And Chris didn't even know what it was. She was like, what did you
give me? Yeah. Who takes something without asking, what is this and what is it going to do?
Yeah. Well,
what did you give me? I can't say it on TV.
On TV,
wink,
I
wink,
wanna
wink,
know.
wink.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Chris is a busy girl. Like, she's gonna be tired, and it was just a quick little cat nap, and then she was ready to party, right?
The strange. Did you see her wake up face when the dog woke her up? She was the shock. I mean, I know that nervous wake up, and it ain't good.
When you feel like it's like 8 years later and you don't know where you are. Yeah, I experienced that like on the daily.
Me too.
That's hilarious. But I really did feel bad for Chris. I think that she was really trying to make an effort with Kylie, but it wasn't until MJ was like, "Oh, so you mean she's acting just like you did when you were 17?" I mean, I get that, she is going through those growing pains of being a teenager. And I'm sure being in that family isn't always the easiest thing.
Right.
And especially growing up in that environment and growing up with, like the social media thing, and you're so popular and everything you post is so
talked about and examined.
Exactly. So I mean, I can't even imagine being in that situation. But she is just like, I just don't want her to be a brat. Like,
I feel I really got some strong brat vibes from her tonight.
Yeah.
I think out of them all, she's the brattiest.
Yeah.
She comes across.
It seems,
To me, it's just like no energy. Positive, or I mean, I feel like it's just a lot of
She's always just
buzzkill.
like, yeah.
She just wants to do her own thing.
I don't know.
Just a little bit more energy in the words, I feel, once in a while. Although I have to say this, with her mother, if Chris wants to really do it, I feel like it needs to happen. It's something that needs to happen organically. Like, to force such a thing, that ruins it in the first part,
Yeah. Well, I did understand with the whole room thing, Chris was like, I can't push back.
Right.
I've learned that she'll run away if I don't just, give her space. But, I mean, the whole trip is kind of forced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at that point, you might as well just keep her in the same room as you.
Right. After all of that.
After all that work.
And here's my thing. After wrapping up this specific plot line, this is one huge thing that annoys me in the show is at the end, they have to wrap everything up with a bow. And she's like, yeah, I guess I don't spend a lot of time with my mom. And it really is not. And like them walking on the boardwalk and making up. I feel like that's just so forced.
Yeah.
When in life, how convenient would it be if everything any drama that happens in your life just wraps itself up
with
in
cotton
this
candy.
Cotton candy perfect ending. It's like sometimes I need, maybe
I feel like it was
like
real
that.
for Chris because you could tell she was crying, but for sure Kylie was just
lazy and like,
Yeah, sure.
What color am I going to do my hair next?
Yeah, and I really feel like MJ didn't help that much. Like
she was forcing it at the end.
And when they were in that store, she was just like, "Oh, so are you going to move out?" And Chris is like, why are you bringing that up?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't helping the situation
Also,
at all.
I moved out when I was 16.
Yeah. You know how old I was? I was younger than you, which means you should do it
Hurry
right
up.
now.
I don't know if she
You're too
didn't
slow,
catch
Kylie.
on to what was happening or she was unaware. Because then when she sat down for breakfast when they were eating at the hotel, it seemed like she was a lot more forceful. She was like,
Yeah, she
will
wants
you
to
go?
go.
Yes, you will.
Yeah.
And like when your grandma's going to say that, you're going to
But
listen.
that was good. Yeah. Well, and it was interesting that Chris was, what she said, that when she was 17, she met Robert Kardashian.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And so she was kind of like putting it into perspective there, like, wow, like, Kylie's not as young as she once was. You know what I mean?
And Kylie's an old 17, I think.
She
It's not
looks
even
like
like she's
she's
your
47.
average. I said that at the beginning of the I'm like, she's not 17. And she is.
I definitely didn't look like that when I was
So if
17.
Chris met Robert at 17, is Tyga the one?
I don't know.
Did you notice the little doggy had a shirt that said, I love my daddy?
Oh, really?
So who's
Norman
daddy?
was wearing the...
Who's Norman's daddy?
I didn't notice that. Good,
I didn't
very
notice that
observant,
either.
Franny.
But I do want that dog. on
I
his
know.
head.
Oh, it was so
Such-
cute.
such a cute dog.
And the hotel gave it its own little bed and toys.
That was really cute. Well, I'm glad that she's actually paying attention to the dog because when Kendall got a dog like last
That was
season or whatever,
horrible.
they got rid of it like 2 weeks later
Yeah.
because it like pooped all over the floor or whatever.
Because they didn't even pay any. They just put it in the washroom and
Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
glad-
I forgot. Now I remember.
Yeah.
It literally, destroyed
literally
that
destroyed.
house.
literally,
Yeah.
literally
So
a
that
shitty
dog-
situation.
that dog, I think its name was Blue or something.
Yeah.
Didn't last very long.
No.
I
But
feel
so I'm
like
hoping
didn't
Mama
they keep
does-
him? But maybe Rob, or someone. I don't remember.
I'm not sure if Robert has a dog.
Sometimes
right
I see
now.
dogs pop up in their Instagrams, and I'm like, is this your
Yeah,
dog?
like,
is
They're
it friends?
props.
Yeah, if
props,
it's started by the
whatever-
prop department,
whenever
I
they
don't
want one.
know.
Yeah. I don't know. So any other thoughts about Chris and Kylie? It was, I
just
feel
hope
like it's
she's-
natural
yeah. It
tension
is.
between a teenager and their mom. And especially when she's the youngest, it makes it a little more difficult to let go.
I agree. I think Kylie, in general, just overall what we were speaking about, she's the youngest, social media, she's kind of hanging out with someone older.
And I mean, she's just kind of bratty. Like,
Right.
to be
Yeah.
quite frank about it.
But
like,
I do have to say, I'm on the same page as you, but in retrospect, to see all the social media, how popular she is, she's only 17. She is a good kid in this.
Yeah.
We see a lot of people in the media do a lot of bad things, and I can't really say I've or
She's a
heard
good-
of any
yeah.
crazy, rude things that she's done. So I guess you take the little for what it is.
I can't blame her for
Yeah.
how she is. Like,
Yeah.
it's really just a outcome of her environment, it seems like to me. But
yeah, I would agree.
what can you do?
Nature
Yeah.
versus nurture.
Yeah.
Speaking
Good
of
one.
nature, Khloe and
Khloe-
Malika.
Dang.
But yeah, so let's talk about Khloe and Malika and French. Kind of. I was a little
So awkward.
like, first of all, it just kind of like came out of nowhere that Malika feels like she is always put in the middle of Khloe's relationships. Didn't really seem like it mattered who it was with. But at the same time, like, she's seen Khloe go through so many failed marriages and relationships and whatever that as a friend, she's just protective. But Khloe had her, like, returning French's stuff.
So awkward.
And, like, it really does put her in the middle. I get that. Like, I understand her frustration and her being frustrated with Khloe because she breaks up with him, but then they, like, hang out all the time. And then he's still around. And
Right. Don't ask me to deliver your ex something if next weekend you're going to go to dinner with the dude.
Yeah, be like, why did you just take it when you went to dinner?
Yeah, if it's not awkward between you two, then what am I even doing?
Right.
Like, helping you out. That makes sense. But, like, but then I do think it was, like...
An extra level.
Khloe was like, why are you so bothered by this? Like, it's my life, blah, blah, blah. And I get that, too. So, like, I 100% get both sides of this argument, which is why I feel like it was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I feel like it also was not really ever resolved because it wasn't even anything in the first place.
Correct. No.
So it is just a little confusing. But so they're like both single and they decide to go to Vegas. Well, Khloe like gets the private jet for everyone. They're like, to Khloe, like, thanks for paying for everything.
From Malika's sister and like extras. Like, who are the other people? Never seen them in my whole life.
Who was the girl sitting next to Khloe at the restaurant? She looked like she was 13.
I have no idea. They were just
And
fillers,
French
extras.
at the table. Yeah, they were at
so
French at the table
convenient.
next to them. Easy for camera angles, I think. Sorry, I'm
That
bitter
was like
tonight.
definitely set up somehow.
Seems
and then
it.
But how rude was that? Rude, I'm using that loosely, to throw Malika under the bus to French. Hey, Khloe to French, like, hey, Malika doesn't like that.
Malika doesn't want you sitting
Why
here.
would you say
Yeah.
that?
Well, then he pulls
Then
Malika aside,
exactly.
and that's exactly what she didn't want in the first place, and that just really
That would make me mad too,
She's
because
at
then
the
it
bottom.
seems like your friend is not. It seems like they're taking their side, or it feels weird.
It was just
for
awkward.
Malika.
This episode like really like made French look bad to me. It like seemed like he was like a clinger, and he was like, that's my heart, like
Yeah,
blah blah
that's
blah.
my
Like,
heart.
That was like kind of creepy.
That's like desperate stuff.
yeah,
I feel.
it's like I felt like he was really desperate for Khloe, and I don't know. It was just really weird to me.
I don't even know why.
It seems like he's just like clinging around for no reason.
Why did they? Maybe I just missed it. I don't know. Why did they actually break up? Was there like something that happened, or they
really
just?
know either.
For me, I just feel like they just stopped. Or
Yeah.
something.
Well, I think she just said that she broke up with him. Maybe she just wasn't feeling it, or maybe he wasn't like the right one, or whatever. And I mean, like, he's not that great. Like, as a person, can't really understand what he says.
Seems pretty blah. Seems
Yeah.
pretty blah. I don't know.
And nothing great. So maybe it just didn't work out. But I also it was like last week. It said like her divorce papers with Lamar like haven't been finalized or something, or like as like Khloe Kardashian might have to end up staying married to Lamar or something. I don't know exactly what it was, and it was like TMZ, so I don't know how reliable it is. But I don't like. I was like, oh, maybe that's like why she like isn't having public relationships right now if she's like still married. I don't know. That's all speculation.
I mean, it's understandable. I could see that.
Or maybe
side
she
of
just
it.
doesn't like the guy. Maybe they enjoy like partying together, whatever. Like, I get that. And when you're in Vegas and he's having a party at a strip club, like, why not? Like, let's go, right? If I were her, like, maybe. but Malika was like not down.
Malika was too serious. Listen, I understand you're protecting Khloe, but at the end of the day, it's like if your friend wants to do that, they're going to do that. It's not like she's marrying the guy right here and now. You don't have to ruin your night, ruin the day.
It's a strip.
Be all
You're going
pissy
to a
about
strip club.
it.
It's not like he's
Deal with it at home and say,
Yeah.
Khloe, why? That's weird. Don't do that again. If you're, but don't be laying in the bed and being like, oh, like I'm not saying if you go, but if you do go, if we do
know,
see
that was
him,
not gonna
it was
go.
just
come on.
awkward, just really weird. I think she was mad at the fact that Khloe made her drop off the things and then whatever, and that should have been it.
Yeah.
Like, that's why she was mad. Instead, it flipped. And they always kind of have that weird, like, friend relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even what did she made a comment on the couch, and Khloe said something. It sounded like they were like,
Yeah, she was like, we can play together with
Yeah.
other people.
and obviously I'm not implying that there's anything there, and I highly
Yeah.
doubt it, but I think if you've been with a friend for a really, really long time, you kind of have that kind of relationship.
They're
but it was
just
just
really
like
close.
Yeah, but it was just like, if you're mad at that, be mad at that. Eventually we're gonna have our separate lives, family lives. Like, you can't be a part of everything.
And she can't be like in control of everything
Yeah.
in Khloe's
No.
life and then be mad when Khloe doesn't act like how she wants her to.
Yeah. And I think she realized that at the end because nothing
Yeah.
else did change except for her realizing I'm a little crazy in this situation. Let me back off a bit.
Well, and she, during the episode, she Instagrammed a picture of her and French. And French is like in the background with like a stack of, you guys should go to it's Forever Malika's Instagram. She just did this like 2 hours ago. It's French in the background with a stack of money on his shoulder, and she's like in the front, and they're like on a plane or something.
So that's signifying that like they're cool.
And her caption is like, "I love you, Frenchie," like blah blah blah, like you know, we've had our like talks, but it's all love, and I love you, and blah,
That's
blah,
actually
blah.
that brings up to a good point of. So I do often wonder what things. So because obviously French isn't there while she's doing and saying all the other things that is now about to go public. Do you think there's a time when she would approach French or anyone in the show would approach someone else and be like, "Listen, this episode's gonna like you're gonna see some things that I have done or said about you, and like I don't feel that way anymore."
Yeah, I feel like that's with TV in general. Like,
yeah.
And even when Khloe, I thought this was so funny when they're doing like the wine tasting or whatever, and Khloe was like, she was like, "Well, you have people in your life that I don't like necessarily love," and she was like, "I don't like that you hang out with Caitlyn," and like,
is
blah, blah,
Caitlyn
blah.
a real person or is
like,
it an example?
I was like, Caitlyn's probably sitting at home like, what? Like, what did I do?
I was thinking the same thing.
That's
I was
so
wondering if
funny.
it was just an example name or if they're, God forbid she has a friend named Caitlyn
That
by accident,
seemed
then it
pretty
really seems to
specific.
question
It seemed pretty personal.
Yeah.
Caitlyn, I feel like is a random name to choose.
It's probably one of the random people on that plane.
Probably an
I want to
extra.
know who it is for sure. That's so funny.
Just
to
go
me.
on Instagram and start clicking and clicking
Yeah.
and clicking.
Go through
We'll get to the bottom of
followers.
it eventually. That's so funny. But yeah, but then like, so I get like Malika being protective, blah, blah, blah. And I also get Khloe being like, "Why are you all up in my business all the time?"
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's it. It was just kind of,
It was just weird.
it was weird. And then they hike up to this hot spring.
That smelly ass hot
But they sat
spring.
down and talked in next to the
Okay,
sun.
again,
It was
a
making,
bow,
like,
a
weird
wrapped up
noises.
bow like moment here.
Making noises.
It was making
Like,
weird
was that
noises.
real or was that
I think
fake?
that was fake.
But
It
it's
was
not
a bloop,
added in.
bloop,
Yeah, it was
bloop.
like bloop, bloop.
I thought that
is
was fake.
something that happens? Like, that was very
I always wanted to
confusing.
go to Hot Spring, but then I saw that and
No,
I said no.
I promise you.
It's not
There's
like
prettier
that?
ones. I've seen pictures.
Yeah.
Oh.
They like the people in the TV crew like definitely had to know that that's what they were getting into. They wouldn't just hike up there without checking
Yeah,
it out
absolutely
first.
not. That's true.
Gross.
And Khloe just
Grimy.
kind of like left Malika in the dust though. Like if this is supposed to be a bonding experience, like don't hike up a mile in front of her. She's obviously having a hard time breathing.
Wait, did Khloe start being Courtney in the moment?
Dude, that was so funny.
That was,
That was the best
hilarious
part of the
and
episode.
weird at the same time.
I'm pregnant.
That was hilarious. And she was like, "I can't walk in mud. I'm pregnant." And she's like, "Courtney, are you pregnant again?" I thought that. So that's obviously a running inside joke between
Yeah.
them. So
Probably.
that was hilarious. 'Cause
Yeah.
Courtney can just get pregnant at the tip of a hat or whatever.
Seriously.
When she sneezes, that's what I say.
My
and
que-
we
I was just gonna say,
didn't
and
talk about Kim,
Kim is-
as her doctor. She is just so concerned about getting pregnant, but the surgery went well, and the doctor's like, "Yeah, you'll be able to have a kid. Like, stop asking me." Is what the vibe I got
I
from
could
him.
understand. I've heard the question so many times, and I'm like, that poor guy. I gotta
Yeah.
deal with it in person. I don't know.
I know. She asked. He's like, "The surgery went well." Like blah blah blah. Like shows the pictures, and then she asks again, and he's like, "Yes." Like from what I can tell, I think you'll be able to get
I
pregnant.
like that he said, "You did good." And she goes, "Thank you."
Yeah.
Like, thank you. You were out. You did not know. You did not help
Yeah.
that surgeon at all.
She
She will
really
take
played a
any and all
huge
credit
part.
that she can get
Yeah.
for anything.
Thank you.
Oh,
That's
dang.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I have a question though. Who wouldn't want to ride a pony, Malika?
Right,
She was
what a
being
buzzkill.
bitter Betty. That's why she didn't
Well,
want to
the
ride
whole
a
point
pony.
of this trip is to like talk things out and to get past
And
this
ride
like
ponies.
awkward and to ride ponies and to get past this like awkward phase, whatever it is that they're going through. So first of all, probably shouldn't rent a convertible where you can't talk at all. Like that kind of
That's fun for like 15 minutes until
Yeah.
you're like, I'm cold. I don't want to be in a convertible,
My
and it's
hair.
very loud.
Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of taking this road trip that's
Yeah.
supposed to be kind of like Chris and Kylie, you know, taking a road trip to
Right.
Bond or whatever. But, you know, if you have the top down and like listen to music and Chloe's like screaming and stuff, you're not going to have that heart to heart. And then they like get distracted by the ponies. Again, not a blessed time for heart to heart. And so I think Malika's just kind of like, okay, what are we really here for?
Right.
We need to get down.
She said, "I thought you had this plan."
Yeah, you kind of have to like when you're doing an awkward confrontation like that. I feel like you've just got to talk about it, and
Get
then you
it
can have
over with.
a great
Yeah.
rest of the trip. Like, why save it until the end?
You end up
Learn
ruining
from
the whole trip.
experience. Don't save it till you get home and then a week later discuss it either. Like, you have to get it out before the trip.
Just do it. Yeah, and that's the whole point of the trip anyway. Like, why don't we talk on the way up there? Let's put the roof up. We'll get this out, and then we can go ride ponies. Like,
Right.
that sounds like a great day.
And then get over it and be fine.
That sounds like a magical day. And then we like ride off into the sunset on our ponies.
And get some wine at the end. It's perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect.
Yeah.
And then they would have avoided the whole hot spring situation, I feel like.
Totes.
Yeah.
I want to try hot springs still, and if it's like that, I'm gonna.
No,
blame you.
it's not. I promise
Just
you.
don't go to that one.
Yeah, where
Make
was
sure
it?
you Yelp it.
Yeah.
Do they
Can
have
you
hot
do that?
springs on Yelp?
I bet you.
I bet they do.
Somewhere.
Everything's on Yelp. People are very opinionated.
True.
All right, let's get into some news and gossip.
Yeah.
All right.
Got a little British there for a second.
TV
I
news.
love British.
News and gossip.
gossip.
News and
Let's do it
gossip.
all in the British accent.
Yeah, you're way better at it
No.
than I am. I can only do Southern, apparently.
Just do it. Y'all.
But y'all,
No.
I do it all the time when I'm talking.
I say
True.
y'all. I
Yeah,
drop a
say
y'all
y'all
in
too.
there.
That's good. All right, let's talk about Kardashians
Yeah.
for a moment. What do you guys have?
So, one Kardashian / Jenner that wasn't in the episode was all over news about Coachella this weekend.
I know.
Yeah.
Miss Kendall.
Well, she's there with Kylie, and Kylie's like long blue wig.
Cotton candy-ish blue wig.
I kind of dig
Yeah.
it. I really dig it, actually. But
It's fun for Coachella.
one Kendall Exhibit A. Her picture with Justin Bieber.
Yes.
Wait,
So
I didn't
he
see
posted
it.
that.
Oh, maybe I
He
did
was
see
like
it.
all
Let
up
me see.
on her,
Let me
just
see.
fueling the rumors.
It looked like he was like adjusting her little bikini bottom.
Justin posted it, you're saying?
Yeah,
Just-
Justin posted
okay.
it.
Just the Biebs did.
So they're definitely like, and they've always spent time together, and they're like denying being in a relationship or whatever. They've definitely hooked up. Like I have
Oh,
a
they
feeling,
definitely
like,
hooked
yeah.
up, I feel. What is it? Oh,
Right
wow. I
there.
Yeah, I'm sorry we don't have it to show you guys, but
didn't- You can see.
yeah, if you can zoom in.
Yeah, they're very touchy. And she was at the roast for him or whatever, and she got like
yeah.
they made
She definitely got time.
Yeah, and they
Screen
made
time.
jokes.
They made
about
jokes about her,
and every
yeah.
time there was like a really harsh joke about him, they would cut to her. So it like definitely seemed
I totally forgot about that because I watched that and I noticed that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Selena obviously wasn't there, but I feel like they were supposed to be friends, but they're not anymore.
Yeah, well, when I was looking at the comments, because those are always fun to read, they were like, no wonder Selena doesn't hang out with those beeps anymore.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But then Exhibit B with Kylie at Coachella is that Tyler, the creator, called her out, but he was
Kendall or
playing.
Kylie?
Kendall. He was playing. I guess Kendall was watching his set and in the VIP section, and he was saying how the VIP section was just sitting there boring. And then he's like, "Yeah, you, Kendall, beep you." Oops, kind of almost showed that right there.
That's hilarious.
And like called her out, but they were just joking. She flipped him off, and then did a little heart. And then Tyler today tweeted, "I can't believe people think that I don't like Kendall Jenner."
Well, that's just his personality.
Right,
Though.
that's
Like,
just
he's
the
freaking
way
nutty.
he
just
is.
Yeah.
him. Yeah, he just says whatever he wants
Yeah.
in the moment.
But when I saw the clip before I like kind of got all the backstory, I was like,
Didn't seem aggressive.
"Oh my god!"
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I love
Yeah.
that though. But I like Kendall though. Like I feel like as opposed to Kylie, like she has some life. She's a personality. She's
positive. She has some sort of energy.
She posted a video of her like
In the car?
in the car dancing to a little Ariana Grande, and I was like, oh, that's so cute.
So cute.
But yeah, the only other thing I have is the stuff about Khloe, the divorce not being finalized. I'm not sure of the details of that, and also that's just speculation. I'm assuming. I don't know.
Wait,
the
so you
status of
said
that.
you did hear it from TMZ?
Yeah, so it was like on TMZ
Okay, so
and a
it's-
few.
That's kind of
other-
legit.
They usually like.
Yeah.
I have to
know
say,
whether-
TMZ is usually pretty.
Yeah, it was. I
accurate
saw it
in
on
there.
Twitter on TMZ, and it was like Khloe might have to stay married till March, something about the paperwork. I'm not sure. Again, that's speculation. If you guys out there know the details of that,
Yeah.
please comment. Let us know if we know the status of that, because we really haven't heard much about
No.
it anyway. And so I'm curious to know like how that like everyone else is in the world about how that affects her relationships.
Are you guys excited for the Bruce Jenner interview?
Oh my God,
that's
yes.
coming up.
So-
What is it, this Friday?
Yeah,
Is it?
It's the 20.
Oh, so no.
So in a couple weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks.
I can't remember. So they released that
That
15-second
teaser video.
trailer,
Which said nothing.
Said absolutely nothing.
No.
But so I tweeted you guys that article with the thing, and it was on E. But like it didn't even like in the copy of the article, it didn't say anything about like addressing like speculation of a sex change, like blah blah. It didn't say anything about that. It was just like we're gonna talk about the future, ask him a bunch of different topics.
I don't know.
Blah, blah.
Somebody said it was 2 hours long, the interview. What in God's name does Bruce have to talk about for 2 hours?
Well, I mean, he does know the Kardashians.
I guess.
I mean, if it's focused on him, I mean, I don't know. He used to be like a huge, star in his own right. So
apparently,
I don't
the
know.
Jenner family is like Brody.
Are they
and
on there
Brandon.
too?
Apparently, they're gonna be in there, but not Kendall and Kylie and Chris. Apparently, they don't make an appearance.
so weird.
So I don't know. Like again, we talked about this week after week. I am not going to say anything. If he comes out on that thing and says, "This is what I'm doing. I'm happy." Blah blah blah. Great. Couldn't be happier for him. But I am not. I like just can't believe it yet.
Me neither. I really can't believe it yet. And also, they did the teaser and they shot it in a way that we didn't see his face. They were as if we've never seen his face before. So then I'm like, what are they trying to make us think that he's gonna like reveal some new? Which I don't think that's the case.
But we've seen him in like paparazzi pictures, and we've seen him like he hasn't done anything that we don't know about. I feel like, but maybe he has. I don't know.
like it's just a huge.
I do too. I think
publicity
I do
thing.
not think it's happening. I don't. I'll be the first to say it, or maybe not.
I know, right? If he is, I was just kidding. If I'm
he's
right,
not,
I
then-
told you guys.
Then yeah, you heard it here first.
I also read this other article the other day. It was pretty funny about there's some places in Hollywood that are not allowing, that have the signs that say
no
parking for
Yeah.
Kardashians or whatever.
Some street artist
It's
is
an
doing
artist.
it, right?
Yeah, it's what is, I just blanked on
So
the
is
word.
he doing it? It's like it's street art, and he says he's just doing it around
He's
the
just
city.
posting it around.
I didn't know if it was like business related, and they were like, "We don't want them coming in here," or whatever. I was like, "That's illegal." I think that's like discrimination.
That's some sort of discrimination.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's funny.
I wonder if we're gonna see. It's in LA, right? That they're doing it.
So
I wonder if we'll see
it
one.
said it was around Hollywood for
There's
sure.
one right outside the Dash store.
Really?
Are you serious? That's hilarious.
Oh wow.
I gotta go see that. I want to
Yeah,
go take a picture, like
see it too.
with like Dash in the background and the sign. Is it on the sidewalk?
They
or
must
is
take
on
it
the
out
wall?
for. They must have people removing it if it's near the store.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think. I mean, I don't know. I would think they would find the humor in it and leave it anyways. But if artists, you have to get permits and stuff for artists to do that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
probably.
Well, there's.
just
I mean, in LA in general, there's street art everywhere. They have like they have positive ones that are like you're beautiful or whatever, and then they have other ones that are like don't make stupid people famous. We see that one.
I think that's the guy. It's the guy who did that. It's the same artist, I believe.
He is really passionate about that.
Yeah.
About not making stupid people.
Guy has a cause and he is working for it.
He really does. I want to go find one. I want to go to the Dash store one.
If we get one, we will tweet it out. So follow us on all the
All right,
social
let's talk
media.
about some predictions. If we have any.
I'm trying to think what.
You're AFTERBUZZ TV.
I feel like I had some other gossip, but on the way here I could not remember it. Oh well.
Oh, well, we're going to just talk about it right now, even though we're in predictions. But Kim and Chloe have been in Armenia.
Oh, that's what I was going to talk about.
Yeah,
yes. That's what I was going to talk about.
What are you going to say?
Sorry.
Woo, passionate about this.
I remember. So Kanye is also in Armenia with them and decided I'm going to give a free concert and jump in this pond or whatever so he could be closer to the fans, and then everyone else was like jumping in this like body of water. But I don't know, I just thought it was weird.
Wasn't the hot spring, was it?
No.
Wish it was.
I just thought it was funny that Kanye decided to give a free performance in Armenia.
Oh, make it about him?
Yeah.
You're surprised about that?
No, I'm not surprised about that, Kanye.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they've been doing some pretty cool stuff. They like met with like the leaders of the country.
Yeah, I saw that picture of them like at some big table.
Some big table. It was like an awkward amount of space between them. Like they would have to yell across the table, "It's nice to meet you." That's hilarious. But so on the topic of hair, because it wouldn't be an after show unless I brought up Kim and anyone's hair color.
Exactly.
But so Kim changed her hair color back to black because she was going to Armenia, and Chloe is like full on blonde now. So they like went.
She was
opposite.
kind of blonde in the interviews, right? That they were.
Yeah,
for
she
this
was getting
episode.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like her blonde. It looks more natural, obviously, than Kim's did.
Yeah.
But okay, you guys want to talk about predictions for real? Since we're in predictions.
Yeah. The only thing I can think of right now is they go to New York to watch the theft that's happening in Dash, right? That's what we saw her and
so how can they plan that out? That like someone's gonna try to steal something.
I think it's
like,
happening
while
that
they're there.
often.
That they can just go in
And
assume
or
it's
they're
happening?
recording all day and then they put them in the van to watch the footage that like producers see the stealing and they act as if it's happening immediately.
I bet that's what it is because like what's the like you know
right? Are they about to spend 8 hours sitting there? I don't see Kim doing that.
no, so I bet they like did have the footage. Now they're just like going back and watching it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy though.
That
That
is
it's like
crazy.
happening that often. And
Wait, so is there New York?
It looked like their New York storefront.
yeah, that didn't look like the LA one, but maybe
I wasn't
it is.
even paying attention to the.
Well, and Jonathan's there, and I'm pretty sure that he
that's
lives
who
in
is
New
it,
York.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, can't wait to see him again. It's very exciting.
Woo.
Seriously? Or okay,
I'm
I was
just
like,
kidding.
really?
Sarcasm. Yeah,
Driest dude ever. I don't know what's
he's a
up.
moocher, I feel like. But anyway,
That's
it's what
negative.
can you
I don't
do?
mean to be
Yeah,
negative, but
no.
it's true. So
That's how I feel. You're entitled to your opinion.
Good, I'm gonna
Everyone's got
say
one.
it. Born,
Everyone's
dude.
got one. All right, well, that about does it. Do we have
Yeah.
any other additions to make here?
That's all.
Where can we find you on social media since we talked about it so much?
You guys can find me at Nicholas Grava on Twitter and Instagram.
Twitter, Instagram, XOXOCESCA.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Sterling Cates, and of course, all of us at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.
See ya.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.